Okay, now if you look at the posterior end here, you see there's quite a bit of these projections, and these here are projections, these here are depressions, are fossa. So this all you have to know the name as well, because it articulates with the radius and ulna. So on this part here, on the lateral side, this structure, this I will color it in green. This structure here is known as capitulum. Capitulum. So this capitulum, capitate, it means head. So we'll articulate with the head of radius. Okay, head of radius. And then on the medial side, you have this spool-shaped structure here. This here is known as the trochlea. Trochlea. So trochlea will articulate with the trochlea notch of ulna. This one is just known as trochlea, but on the ulna, the part that articulates with this structure here, with the trochlea of the humerus, is the trochlea notch of ulna. All right. Now, if you're looking at the depressions, the fossa, okay, you have this fossa here on the medial end. This here is known as the coronoid fossa. Coronoid fossa. Why is it known as the coronoid fossa of humerus? Because it will articulate with the coronoid process of ulna when the arm is fully flexed. Okay, and on the lateral side here, you have another depression. This is known as the olecranon. Sorry, this is known as the radial fossa. Radial fossa. It will receive the radial head when you fully flex the olecranon. Okay, because this receives the olecranon process of your ulna. Okay, so on the medial side, these two along with this will receive the ulna, and then on the lateral side, the radial fossa and the capitulum will articulate with your radius. Okay, on the anterior side, this fossa will receive the parts of the bones when the elbow joint is fully flexed, whereas the olecranon fossa will receive the part of the ulna when it's fully extended. Okay, any questions up to that? So we're done with your what do you call that, the bony part. Okay, so these are the things that I've talked about. You can just look through later. I will give you the slides later. Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about, I think the fracture will be talking when we look at the, what do you call that, the nerves. Okay, but these are the things that you can read through. Okay, probably we'll go back here. Now we need to talk about the compartment of the arm. Okay, so the arm, it's quite a big area. Okay, the interior of the arm. So what the organization of the arm is that you have these compartments where you can divide the arm into an anterior compartment and a posterior compartment. So how is this done? Is that the arm is enclosed in a sheath known as a fascia, okay, the brachial fascia. So this brachial fascia, it encapsulates your arms really closely, really snugly, really tightly, okay, and you have the skin and the subcutaneous tissue superficial to it. So skin, subcutaneous tissue, and then on the deepest part will be the brachial fascia, okay, and this brachial fascia, deep to the brachial fascia is where you will find your muscles. So you need this brachial fascia. It will send septums to the bone, and then it will give off this, you can see here. So this is your brachial fascia surrounding the muscles that's deep to the subcutaneous tissue and the skin, and then it will send this septum known as intermuscular septum because it's in between muscles to the bone, and then it will divide the whole entire region here into anterior and posterior. So this septum here, you have these two septums. They call the lateral and also the medial septum. Okay, so lateral septum is shorter and it's thinner, all right, and as its name implies, it lies on the lateral side, so it will need to attach to the lateral part of the humerus. On the superior part, it will attach to the lateral lip of the intertubercular sulcus, your bicipital groove just now, and then it will go all the way along the humerus, down the humerus to the lateral supracondylar ridge and to the lateral epicondyle. The medial side, the medial intermuscular septum, also pretty much the same to the medial lip of intertubercular sulcus, along the medial supracondylar ridge to the medial epicondyle. So now you have this anterior compartment and posterior compartment. Another name for anterior compartment is flexor compartment. Another name for posterior compartment is extensor compartment. So whenever you have these compartments in your limbs, whether it be your upper limb or lower limb, whenever you see compartments, generally the muscles in that compartment will have the same action. Okay, there are exceptions, of course, but generally you have the same actions. So therefore, you will call it's also known as the flexor compartment, because the muscles in the anterior compartment here flexes the arm, and then this here is called the extensor compartment, because the muscles in the posterior compartment here will extend the arm. So, yep. So why do we have these compartments here? Other than being able to organize your muscles in a neat way, it also allows for to ensure that the spread of infection, or if you have a hemorrhage, does not go throughout the entire arm. It will be contained in one compartment to ensure that it doesn't, if you have a bleed, it doesn't bleed so profusely that it goes towards, it will occupy the whole entire arm. So it will just occupy one compartment to ensure that you don't have such a big bleed or some infection. Okay, so we've talked about compartment. Now we need to talk. Okay, so first we talk about anterior compartment. This here is the, all right, this here is the anterior compartment muscles. Okay, so the anterior compartment muscles, you have to remember three names. Number one is biceps brachii. Okay. Number two is brachialis. And number three is coracobrachialis. So where are all these muscles located? So for biceps brachii, you can see this big muscle here. It's actually the most superficial muscle anterior compartment of the arm. So this is the anterior arm muscle. Biceps brachii. Brachii means arm, and biceps means you have a short head. So this here, if you look here, this is the long head of the biceps brachii, the tendon of the long head of biceps brachii. And if you follow it closely, you can see that it goes in between this and this tubercle. So that's your greater tubercle there. That's your lesser tubercle. And in between that, as I mentioned earlier, that's your intertubercular sulcus. So this, the long head, the tendon of long head of biceps brachii will